Hi, this is Anthony. Welcome back to my show. So let's look at AT&T, the former American Telephone and Telegraph Company. It's one that a few years ago, back in 2022 or so, a lot of financial gurus and YouTube finance people were talking about because of its high yield. And at that time, it was about 7% yield. Let's look at it today. It was up a little bit today. The current dividend yield based on today's price is 4.24%. Okay. So let's take a look at it over time. 5 days, it's down 6.74%. 1 month, it's down 9.5%. 6 months, down 2.5%. Year to date, it's up a little over 14.5%. That's not too bad. 1 year, it's up a respectable 20%. Plus, you're getting that yield. So about 25%, let's call it. But 5 years, it's up only 22%. Of course, you're getting a yield between 4 and 7% over this time. But that's not very good. Total, it's 8 to 15% growth, total growth. And then let's look at max. So max goes back, in this case, to October 11th, 1985, when, and this may be split adjusted, but it's adjusted for today's price. $4.87 invested back then, 40 years ago, would only be worth $26.16 today, plus whatever dividends you've gotten. So let's take a look at what that would be. Okay, so I'm asking, what's the annual growth rate for a stock that was $4.87 on October 11th, 1985, and is currently at the current price? So it gives the information here. So the annual growth rate of AT&T, excluding dividends, okay, but just the growth rate from 40 years ago is only 4.17% per year on average. These are averages, but it's looking at the past 40 years. Of course, if you bought it here or you bought it here and then you sold up there, you were lucky enough to sell here, you made a lot of money. But if you bought over in this range and then it drops down, and then you probably sold out here, started going up, you got excited again, you bought back in here, and then it dropped. If you think about it, back here, 2007, it was $29. 10 years later, roughly, you're just back to where you were after holding it for 10 years with it basically going sideways. Then it's been going down till that point, September 1st, 2023. Then it's been going up. Okay, so let's look at some information on that. Okay. So if you go to the AT&T site, you can find this using Google. It does have the amount. So it's currently paying 27.75 cents a quarter. It's done that since about the middle of 2022. Prior to that, it was more than twice. That's back when they still owned Warner Brothers, I think. For a while, it was 52 cents. It was 51 cents before that, 50 cents before that, 49 before that. So it looks like for a while each year they were adding about a penny per quarter or 4 cents a year. There was about a 10% or 4.5% jump in 2000, between 2007 and 2008. So anyway, when you see a large yield or somebody's talking about a blue chip stock like AT&T that has had a long run, you can go back and look and see, am I really making money ultimately? Let's go back here for a minute. Okay, so what are the competitors of AT&T? So T-Mobile. Let's look at the 5-year refresh for AT&T. In 5 years, you're up only 22%. Again, we're excluding dividends. This is just appreciation in the price of the stock, one share of stock. Okay, you're up 22% for AT&T. T-Mobile, we're looking at 5 years, you're up 94%. Quite a big jump. Let's look at Verizon. And I don't happen to know what Verizon's is. Verizon, you're down 30% over 5 years. Has it high dividend? But are you really happy with a high dividend when you're losing so much money? You know, you're really not getting any dividend when you're losing money like that. 1 year, it's down 5%, pretty much sideways. Year to date, it is up a small amount. 6 months, pretty much sideways there. Let's look at the max. Again, I haven't looked at Verizon before I did this video. You're up 322%, pretty respectable if you would have bought it back in 1985. But again, you compare this to S&P 500, you compare it to the Dow Jones Industrial Average or NASDAQ 100, those broad-based indices probably would have returned a higher rate of return from this time. So be very cautious. This does have big yield. A lot of people are probably excited about that, probably buy it. Listen to people on YouTube suggesting if they're into dividend investing, which there's nothing wrong with that, but you need to be very cautious about that. But there's probably a lot of people saying, oh yeah, go for this blue chip 6.67%. And you don't realize that, you know, you're losing money. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Remember, I'm not a financial analyst. I'm just somebody interested in the stock market, somebody interested in building my channel and helping people with realistic, not even advice, but entertainment. Do your own research. All I'm doing is trying to prompt you to do your own research, giving you some ideas on what might be appropriate for you and some things that might be appropriate to avoid. Okay, so, and I think that most people should have most of their money in broad-based mutual funds or ETFs with a long-term time horizon. Hopefully you have a Roth IRA and you're putting money in your 401k if that's available. Check out my other videos. I have lots on the stock market, and I cover other things like unexplained mysteries, unsolved cases, things like that. So hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment. I read all of them and I respond to them eventually. Thank you so much.